Hello Year 7, this is going to be now your fourth lesson in the energy unit. So far in this unit you've had a look at the different types of energy, and last lesson you concentrated on one of those types of energy, which was electrical energy. We're going to move on today to have a look at energies that we would refer to as being potential energies. So we're going to have a look at potential energy, if you can find this information in your book. So basically potential energy is stored energy. So it is energy that is found within something that has the potential to be converted into other types of energy and be released. So the first type of potential energy that we would need to know about is called chemical energy. So chemical energy would be found in things like batteries, the food that you eat, fossil fuels like petrol, coal, etc. that you would burn. The second type of potential energy or stored energy is called elastic energy. So this would be the energy that you would find in something that has been stretched. So for example, a bow, in a bow and arrow, a elastic band, a spring, or something like a wind-up toy would all have stored elastic energy. Again, you have the potential that that energy can then be converted into other types of energy, change into other types of energy when the spring is let go, or you let go of the bow, and the energy then can be used to do work. The third type of potential energy is called GPE. GPE stands for gravitational potential energy. So whenever an object is lifted above the ground, it gains stored gravitational potential energy. When you then let go of the object will fall back towards the ground, and that energy that's been stored in there will be released. So as you can see there in your book, when an elastic band is stretched, its stored energy is released when it's let go, and that will then cause something to happen. So it can be used to do work. So underneath that information in your book, you should have these pictures. In each of these pictures, there is a type of potential energy being displayed. So what I'd like you to do is to pause the video for a minute or two. Next to each picture, then write down which type of potential energy you think this picture is showing. Okay, so if we have a look at the first picture, we've got a picture there of a burger. Inside the burger, you should have remembered there would be chemical energy. So you would eat the burger, inside your body then the burger would be digested, and you would release that chemical energy, and your body would then be able to change that into other types of energy for movement, for making sound, for heat. The next picture then, you've got someone stretching a spring. This would be an example of elastic energy. The third one, we've got some batteries. So that would be displaying chemical energy. So the chemical energy that is inside the batteries, when you put the battery into something, you will then be able to change that chemical energy into other types of energy for whatever it is that you need that particular appliance to do. So it may be heat energy, it may be kinetic or movement energy. In the next picture then, you've got someone hitting a ball with a tennis racket. The moment that the ball hits the racket, the racket strings will be gaining elastic energy. So when the strings then come back, that elastic energy will be changed into kinetic energy, which will then make the ball move. In the last picture, we've got someone jumping off a cliff. So at the top of the cliff, they would have GPE, gravitational potential energy. As they start falling then, obviously that will change into kinetic energy. Okay, at the bottom of your page, you should be able to see that you've got a table. The first column of the table says stored chemical energy, the second column says stored elastic energy, and the third one says stored gravitational energy. On the screen, you've got some examples there of things that would contain these different types of energy. So again, I'd like you to pause the video, have a go at deciding which of the columns you think each of those things would belong to. Okay. Hopefully you've had a go at deciding where these things belong. So I'm just going to go through them. As we go through, make sure you're checking your answers, making any changes that you need to do. Give yourself a tick if you've got them correct. So for the first one, petrol, you should have that under stored chemical energy. So inside petrol, there is stored chemical energy. When you burn the petrol in something like a car, you'd be converting that stored chemical energy, changing it into movement energy, heat energy, sound energy. The next one then, rain in a cloud, would have stored gravitational energy because it is up high. The clockwork toy would have stored elastic energy. So when you wind up a clockwork toy, you're giving the toy stored elastic energy. When you let go, then that elastic energy can be changed into other types of energy, depending on what the toy does. It might make a noise, so turn it into sound energy. It might move. The next example we've got then is a battery. So within a battery, again, you will have stored chemical energy, as we mentioned earlier, which can be changed then into whatever energy you need it to do. The next example is coal. So just like petrol, coal will be burned to release the energy that's inside it. So it starts as stored chemical energy, and as it burns, it would turn into heat energy and light energy. The next one then is a wind-up watch. So when we wind up a watch, we are giving it stored elastic energy. Again, that can be then changed into other types of energy for the hands of the watch to move, and you probably hear a ticking sound as well, so we'd have some sound energy. Lift on the top floor, it's up high, so it will have stored gravitational energy. We've then got food. So food would be stored chemical energy, which your body will then release for you to be able to use. You might have noticed that I've missed one out. Okay, so I've left firework to the end because firework, you could argue, could be in two columns depending on the sort of situation that it's in. So before you light the firework, it will have stored chemical energy. Once the firework has been lit and obviously it goes up into the air, we could then put it into the stored gravitational energy. So it could be in either of those two columns. If you could now turn over to the next page. Over the next couple of lessons, we're going to be thinking about energy changes. So we're going to look at lots of different examples and think about what energy has it got at the start and what is that energy changed into. So we're just going to do one of these examples now. So if you have a look at the question, we've got a glass there sitting on a table. So have a think about what energy would the glass have as it's sitting on the table. The glass then falls off the table. What energy does it have as it's falling? And then it eventually smashes on the floor, and the energy then changes into a third type of energy. So if we think at the beginning, as the glass is sitting on the table, it's being kept up above the ground, therefore it has GPE, okay, gravitational potential energy. So when the glass is on the table, it's got gravitational potential energy, GPE. As it's fallen, that would be changed into kinetic energy. And then when the glass smashes on the floor, we would get some sound energy.